What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Sinister-Cast, a podcast where I talk about music, my channel, and things going on in my life. So if you're new, consider subscribing. And before I begin with today's topic, I want to remind you guys to go check out the video I posted yesterday. A long time ago, about 7 months, 7 months ago, I did my number 2 subscriber challenge, my second subscriber challenge, where I had you guys suggest food items that I would then write a metal song about. And that's for the first part of this Sinister-Cast. I'm going to kind of explain to you guys why it took so long to get that out. But before I explain, go check it out. It's called Kung Pao, P-O-W, Pao, Kung Pao Chicken. It's probably one of my better recorded songs so far. It's an original as well. So you guys will have to let me know what you think. But, yeah, go check it out. I can put up a card or a link in the description for you guys to go click over and watch that. And let me know what you think. It's definitely cool. It's like a thrash metal song talking about wanting Kung Pao chicken and getting Kung Pao chicken and eating it. And it was a lot of fun to make. But let me get to why it took so long to make it. So when I first started that challenge, it took a while. I gave it a couple weeks for people to give me suggestions and for me to decide which person or which topic was the winner. And when I finally did decide on it after a couple weeks of putting that video up, I began the whole writing process. And, you know, I probably could have quickly put something out in a couple weeks that would have been a lot worse than what it turned out to be in the end. But I wanted to take it more seriously, and at that time as well, I was still in school and working a lot, so I had a lot less time than I do now to work on things. So the process was a lot slower, okay? And then, so like I was slowly working on it, getting some stuff done, getting some ideas down. I had like a rough idea of what I wanted it to be. Like I came up with the main like thrashy riff for it, but I needed to flesh it out and make a whole song and get lyrics and all that fun songwriting stuff. And around the end of April, my classes ended. So then I had a little bit of extra time. But as you guys know, if you listen to my podcasts or watch my videos frequently, shortly after, like my classes ended April 27th or 28th. And then on May 1st, I was moving in with my girlfriend to a whole new apartment. So I was getting things ready to move, and I was packing up and getting ready to move. And then we moved, and you know, it took a handful of days to get everything moved over, and things weren't hooked up. For the longest time, we didn't have internet, and, you know, we didn't know how we wanted the layout of the apartment to go. We still are kind of iffy, but we have a main kind of thing down at this point. And I didn't have my whole setup set up yet. Like, everything wasn't where it is now. It took me a while to get things going because we had to unpack, get everything in place where it needed to be, and figuring all this stuff out. And, so it took a while, and once I finally got my stuff all set up, you know, I was trying to keep up with putting videos out for you guys and doing different things. So it kind of got set on the back burner, half intentionally and half unintentionally. And I, you know, would still kind of go back to it every once in a while to work on it. And it just, like I said, it was kind of in the back of my head, and I was coming up with other stuff. You know, I would understand more if it was like all of a sudden a gap. Like I put out that challenge, and then for the longest time I didn't put out any videos, but I was working on other stuff. And then, you know, I started watching Glenn Fricker more. I used to watch him a lot. He's from Spectre Sound Studios or Spectre Media Group. And he's an audio engineer. He gives you a lot of tips about recording and stuff like that, especially for metal. And so I was watching a lot of his stuff, and I kind of got inspired to work on the song again. And partly because he did a live stream that he does every once in a while where people submit their mix mixes of their songs, original stuff, and he kind of critiques it. And I was laying in bed one night, and I was going to bed so I could get up at 5 in the morning for work, and all of a sudden I get a notification that he was live doing a mix review thing, and I was like, oh shit. And so I jumped out of bed, went to my computer, and I sent him Black Death. Now, before I continue with that, in hindsight, I wish I had something better. Like, I wish I had Kung Pao Chicken finished then, so I could send that to him instead, because when I sent that to him, I hadn't done an original song in months. Like, Black Death came out in, December, and I haven't done really an original thing since. And so my recording skills and my techniques and stuff have changed a lot since December. And so I sent him Black Death, and I laid back down in bed, and I was kind of passively, laying there, my eyes were closed, passively listening to the live stream, and all of a sudden he's looking through his emails and stuff, and he goes, Sinister Bunny Studios, that sounds interesting. And I was like, no shit. There's no way he just picked my name out of there. I didn't send him money, I didn't donate or anything to get him to watch it or review it or anything. He just all of a sudden saw my name, which one validated me because obviously Sinister Bunny Studios as a name sticks out enough for people to pick it out of a mess of emails and whatever else. But he was watching it. And if you guys want to check out what it was, if you go to Spectre Sound Studios and go to his participation trophy mix review thing, he was putting on this weird act of being a nice guy. He's normally kind of critical. But near the end of it is when he started listening to Black Death. He was playing it, and I was watching the chat and listening to what he had to say. And for one thing, he said that the guitar sounded a bit thin, and I knew that was coming already. He didn't say anything I didn't already know that I had critiques of for myself. And he said that part of that might be because of the cabinet that I have. It's a homemade cabinet. It's a 4x8, and he said that might contribute to the thin sound of the guitars. And I remember with Black Death, I did a mix of live guitars on my cabinet and impulse responses, or like an amp simulator with my guitar plugged straight into the computer. So that contributed to it, and a lot of critiques I had, he kind of brought up too. And I was also watching the chat for what people said, and people really liked it. Some people didn't. That goes for anything. I get people who don't like my videos and stuff all the time. But it made me want to go, I need to make something a lot better. And I thought, what am I working on? Kung Pao Chicken. I need to get that out. That could be a cool song. It's a thrashy riff. And so I was really working on getting my mic in a good spot, getting a good sound, and I worked on it for a long time, got the lyrics, and I've been working on it for the last 2 or 3 weeks to really finalize it and polish it. And I was going to put it out last week. I put it out yesterday, but I was going to put it out a week before when I put up that microphone review. But I had some other polishes I wanted to do for the mix and the master. I didn't think it was quite done, and I'm glad I waited because I tried some new things, and I think it turned out a lot better than what it was a week ago. And so I was trying a bunch of new stuff. I, tried hard to get a good guitar sound, and I was doing something different with the mix to make sure everything sits in the right spot in terms of the frequency and the sound spectrum. And I think I got to a point that I really like. To me, it sounds very thrashy and everything. Obviously, there are things I would change. I wish I had a different cabinet to record some thicker guitars, because I did some techniques to make the guitars sound thicker, and I think they did. I quad tracked it, so I recorded 4 guitar tracks for the rhythm, and I mixed up the variation and mic placement and stuff to get a wide sound. And with the way I mixed them, I tried to keep that wide sound there, but get rid of that high kind of sounds that kind of shave your hair off, and get rid of the low end, that wub 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 kind of sound. And I just wanted to get everything sounded good. And that was a problem I ran into as well, was I was having a lot of bass flub, and I didn't know where it was, so I had to find it and kind of fix it and figure out where everything was going. And then I finally came to it. There's still some things I would change. The biggest thing I would change is the drums. I really wish I have my buddy Daniel who can play drums for stuff, but that's not reliant enough, and I can't always just be calling him up whenever I need something and be like, hey, get this done on my time. It can't happen that way, and I can't depend on him. And, Daniel, if you're watching this, you're awesome and everything. I just can't, that can't be a thing. So if I find something like get the Steven Slate drums or a superior drummer, easy drummer, something like that, some better sounding stuff than the ones I have, I would also change the guitar if I could to get a different cabinet. But I think overall, I'm fairly happy with what I ended up with. And like I said, you guys will have to let me know what you think of it. I realize it took a while. Yes, I'm kind of happy that it did, because I feel like if I would have tried to rush to get it out beforehand, it wouldn't have turned out as good as it did now. So that's kind of a thing. So yeah, you guys will have to let me know. Long story short, a lot of shit happened in between that time that kind of put it on the back burner and pushed it back a bit. And I apologize for that. I need to be more on top of that. If I come up with another song challenge for you guys, I need to be a lot more responsive and quicker on getting something out. And I think I will. It's just, it's a tricky thing, having life and a lot of shit going on and trying to do this kind of thing. Because, especially with originals, I want it to be as good as they can be. With covers and stuff, they're easier to do because the song's already written. You just got to kind of change it up. With an original, it's original, so you got to come up with everything and make sure it's good and make sure all the riffs hit good, stuff like that. It's a longer process. And so yeah. Second thing I wanted to talk about was what I want to get. I've talked about some amps and stuff that I want to get, like the orange amps that I looked at, and maybe another Marshall, maybe a PV6505, or like a Mesa Boogie Mark V or something like that. It's hard to narrow it down. I want to get something good. I'll probably start with the orange just because it's something different. I need to get a different sound and change things up. And that orange Micro Dark sounded really fucking awesome when I played it in Guitar Center. But also with that, I need to get a different cabinet. My dad helped me make this 4x8 cabinet that I've always used, and it's been great for me for many years, but it's time to move on to something better. I need like 12s instead of 8s. What I'm looking at is from a company called Toman. It's a Harley Benton 2x12 vertical cabinet. And so it looks like a 4x12 almost, but it's got two speakers in a vertical pattern and 2 blank spots in a vertical pattern on adjacent sides. But it sounds fucking killer. It's got Celestion vintage 30s in them, and they sound really, really good for guitar. And that might be something in the future. I think in terms of a cabinet, that's probably what I'm going to get when I get the chance, if I don't find something better in the meantime. And once I get that set up, I'll be able to most likely get some better guitar sounds going. I do the best that I can with what I've got now, but I do realize that I need something better. Same thing with the Marshall Valve State that I have. It's a great amp. It's done good for me for many years, but it's not the greatest amp that you can have for metal. It's a hybrid solid state / tube amp, and it can sound good if you get it right, but it's very tricky to get it right. I know bands like Death and Prong have used the Valve State in their albums, and they've got it to sound good, but I'm not a genius audio engineer, a genius recording artist or anything, so I'm still somewhat of an amateur, and I need to make things as easy as possible. So getting a new amp and getting a new cabinet are top of my list of things to get here in the near future, and it'll make things more fun for me to play as well, as comes with getting any kind of new gear. But I have plans to change that because I know that somewhat holds me back in terms of the tone that I can get. I don't want to say turd because I don't think it's bad because it's still my music, but you can only polish a turd so much, if you've ever heard that saying. Third thing I want to talk about is, oh boy, am I going to forget? Third thing I want to talk about is something I've already talked about, I think maybe last week. So, we have officially passed 400 subscribers, okay? I usually wait till I'm about 5 or 6 subs over a milestone just in case I lose some people. We're at 407 as of right now, as far as I know. So I think we're in the clear. We passed 400 subscribers. So thank you. But now comes the thinking of celebration. So there are a handful of things I can do. I can do the typical Q&A that I've done in the past. I could maybe write a song about something. I can do some kind of challenge for you guys. I can do something weird that you suggest. I don't know. But if you have any ideas for what I should do in celebration of passing 400 subscribers, let me know. Let me know down in the comments. Please let me know if you have any ideas. I have a few myself, but I would love to hear what you guys have in mind. It might be better than what I had in mind. So you'll definitely have to let me know. It's a crazy, crazy thing. And I say this every time I pass a milestone. But, you know, it gets crazier and crazier the higher the milestone is. And I think it's great that things are still growing. And it makes me feel so good that people continue to come and find my stuff and enjoy it enough to subscribe for more content from me. So it's a great feeling. 407 people like me and my content enough to subscribe to it to get more. That's crazy to think about. Crazy. And like 407 is nothing compared to 1,000, 10,000, 100,000, a million. The list goes on. But still, if you think about it, most people see the number and just think of it as a number. You have to think about it. I'm playing basically a concert for 400 some odd people. Just imagine going on stage for 407 people and playing something. That's a lot of people. That is a lot of people. So, as we continue to grow, and as we continue to grow the Sinister Metal Legion, and as we continue to gain more members and more subscribers and fellow musicians and fellow metalheads and fellow Sinister Metal Legion members, it just gets more and more crazy and more fun because the reach grows and everything. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I say this every time. Thank you. And I'm sure you'll hear from me again with the celebratory video. Thank you. Seriously, thank you guys. It's a very validating thing to know that there are so many people that enjoy me and my content enough to watch it all the time and subscribe. So it makes me feel really good. And I know it gets repetitive saying that, but I can't reiterate it enough. It's a great feeling. So we continue to grow. We need to shoot for the big goal of 1,000. I think that's a really good number. Also 500. Every milestone from now, every next milestone is great. But once I pass that 1,000 mark, it opens up a lot of doors. Okay? So, let's do it. So, this is what I want you guys to do. I'm putting the Sinister Metal Legion on a mission. This is what I want you to do, as well as telling you what I should do for 400 subscribers. Excuse me. Go onto my channel, find some of your favorite videos of mine, pick out your top 5 favorite videos that I've made, and go share them with your friends and your family on your Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, Tumblr, whatever there is. Go share my stuff around with people just to get the word out even more. I can only do so much on my end, but now that there are more of you, let's just say, and this is not going to happen, but let's just say all 407 of you decide to share one of my videos on your Facebook. That reach is huge and can bring in a lot more people and help to grow this community. So, pick your top 5, top 3, top 1 favorite videos that I've created, and please share them with everybody you know. That'll help get things spread out, help the channel grow, and help me get a wider reach so that I can make great, amazing stuff for more and more people. People are going to continue to come if you guys don't do it. But if you guys do that, it's going to help me a lot. And I really, really appreciate all the help and support that you guys give me, especially when you're sharing my stuff with new people. It's highly, highly appreciated. But with that, because I'm recording this on my phone and I don't want it to overheat and stop the video, I'm going to cut it off here. I have been doing longer Sinister-Casts the last couple weeks. I want to continue to do that, and I have done so. It's been about 20 minutes, so I think that's a good cutoff point. So, let me know what I should do for 400 subscribers down in the comments, and share my content with your people, with your friends, your family, everybody you know. I really, really appreciate it, and it goes a long way to helping the channel. Like I always say, thank you guys so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Stay metal, my friends.